Good afternoon. I am Satish Kumar Gupta, Assistant Professor, IIMT College of Law, Greater Noida. Today, I will discuss about the sociological perspective and theorist. So, in this session, I will discuss about the what are the sociological perspective and how the explained by the various theorists and thinkers of the sociology. So, in which the first one is the what is sociology? So sociology is a science guided by the basics understanding that the social matters, our lives are affected not only by our individual characteristic but by our place in the social world. That means the sociology is the science that guided by some of the understanding that means social matters in which that our lives and what our day-to-day practices and how we interact with the other peoples and not only through the individual but through our society through the lots of people and through the many more peoples and we connected with each other and interact to the other people in our society. That is called the sociology. So in the slide, we can see that the sociological imagination. In that, what is the sociological imagination? It is the ability to look beyond the individual and the cause for success or failure and see how one society influence the outcome. So sociological imagination, basically term emerged introduced by the C. Wright Mills, the American sociologist, and he described that the what is the sociological imagination, in which he talked about that the sociological imagination it is the concept that when we look at the problem of individual that means not the it is not the sociological imagination. Sociological imagination talk about that the any problem that faced by the lots of people means that major problem that faced by the many people. So in this we can see that it is the ability to look beyond the individual. That means that we when you talk about the beyond the individual, that means that we talk about the collective term, collectivity problem, collective problem. In this we can talk about that the aging problem, that is not the individual problem but it is the collective problem. So one other example we can see that the COVID problem that affected not only any individual person but COVID problem affected COVID virus affected the lots of the people of the world. So that is the sociological imagination. So it is the ability to look beyond the individual as the cause for success or failure. That means if any individual he is success or failure, but we cannot treat it as a sociological imagination, because I already told about that the sociological imagination. It is the problem of the basic. It is the concept of the uh, theory and concept that talk about the only that problem that is the only for the all over the world. That means the not a individual, that problem that the collective, and see how one society influence the outcomes. That means that when we see the outcome of our society and how the society impact by several problems, several issue, that we can put into the sociological imagination. Here we can see that the individual choice versus social forces, that is in which we can see that the first one is solidarity, the level of connectedness a person feels to other in the environment. That means when we talk about the solidarity, that means when we interconnect with others and connect with others and feel that the environment and how we connect with the other peoples and work with the other peoples and same to our choices, our choices merge with the other peoples, that is the called the solidarity. And social control means social control, the social mechanism that regulate a person's action. That means the when we talk about the individual choices versus social forces, so we can talk about that the social control. So social control is the mechanism means that control by in these two type of social control, formal social control and informal control. So in the formal control there are several as agency that control the people. That means the agency like such like a law, police, media, that all these things control the people. But if we talk about that, the informal control, that means when individual control by their family members or their society, so it is called that the informal social control. So social control that we talk about that the social, it is a like a social mechanism that regulate a person's action. That means when people bound in their social control, so they can't do any wrongful action or any other such thing. So in this people did not do any wrongful action and any no wrong crime or any such thing. So through social control we can control our crime in our society and such other things. So here we can compare the theoretical perspective in which we can see that the functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism. So here, if you see that the level of analysis, so functionalism, we talk about that the functionalism, we talk about that the macro and conflict theory talk about the macro. But if you see that the symbolic interaction in see that this theory talk about that the micro. So here we can see that the core question of the functionalism theory. Actually, functionalism means functionalists talk about that the every societies, every aspect work for the function and contribute for the positive aspect. But if we talk about the conflict theory, so conflict we talk about the negative aspect of the society. Mean that factor that impact that influence the negative theory, negative things upon the society and such other things. If we see the core question, so core question that it means that the what keeps society functioning smoothly. So I told that the already told that the what is the things that society control and what is the things that keep society functioning smoothly. That is the called the functioning smoothly. Sorry. So keep society functioning smoothly. So that means that the society when we talk about the functioning theory, so when we every aspect of the society talk about the function and look at the positive aspect of the society. So here next we can see that what are the parts of the society and how do they relate. So in this we can see that the what are the part of the society. That means the part of the society means that the individual and various social agency and such like as the school, college, university, and various department, governmental department and non-NGO, government organization and non-government organization. All such things create things relate to each other and how they work for the society and how they respond positively for the society, and they are all interconnected with them and work for all other things. So here we can see with the example that the our body parts, all the body parts work positively and relate to each other. So we can easily walk, easily move, easily run, so we can do anything easily. But if any part of our body did not run or did not function smoothly, then we have to face any lots of problem for the running, for the walking, for the anything, any work related problems. Next, we can see that the what are the intended and unintended outcome of an event. So the functionalist theory focuses upon the various intended and unintended outcome of any events, like such as we can see that the various aspect of our society that we work for the negative in the society. But functionalist theory talk only about the what are the basic function of the functionalist aspect of the society. The conflict theory, that is a macro theory, and in this conflict theory we talk about the how are wealth and power distributed in society. That means the when the power and wealth and power did not distributed equally distributed in the society, so people create conflict in the society and the society in the chaos. So how do people with wealth and power keep them, means that how the people create wealth and how keep within themselves. are there group that get ahead, and why means that are there any group or they get into the society. That means conflict theory focuses upon the such things. How our society run smoothly, that means that the society run smoothly, and how to the conflict theory work for the society. So next we can see that the symbolic interactionism, that macro theory. This is the micro theory that talk about that the how do people co-create the society. That means the people, how people create and how they interact with the other people and through the symbol and other such things. How the social interaction influence, create and sustain human relationship. That theory talk about this. Theory talk about that the how the people interact and influence and create and sustain human relationship with each other. Further, do people change behavior from one setting to another? If so, why? Further theory talk about that if the people change their behavior from one setting to another, so why they are changing their behavior, and why and how they are changing their behavior. That all things observed by the symbolic interaction. Further, we can talk about that the what are the function. Further, here we can see that the functionalism views society as a system of interrelated part. That means that the functionalism, every system of the society interrelate to each other. At large, I told about the example of our body part, that our body part is interconnected with each other and interrelated every part to each other, and we work smoothly in our society. It is a macro, means large scale theory oriented because it study how social structure affected how a social society work. Means it so that the how the our social structure affect through the functionalist theory and how our society works. Here we can see the some functionalist theory like August Comte, Herbert Spencer, Emil Durkheim, Talcott Parsons, and Robert Merton. Here we can see that the work of Auguste Comte. Comte coined the term sociology in 1838, and he described that the sociology is earlier from the word of sociology, the term of sociology. Auguste Comte gave the term social physics, but the term social physics was uh, stolen by Edward Quetelet and copyrighted by Edward Quetelet. Thereafter, Auguste Comte created new word that is called the sociology, and he felt that sociology should strive to discover social law. That means a statement of fact that are unchanging under given conditions and can be used as a ground rules for any study of society. So, Comte talk about that the how sociology discovered and how social law work for the society, and fact that the unchanging under given condition means that any given condition through in which the social law are unchanged and used to ground rules for any study of society. Means how we study society and how our law are unchanged in the various society. Comte, if you talk about the Comte social law, that means Comte suggested in order to know social law of a society. So one must study social statics and social dynamic. So Comte described that if you understand if you want to study our social law, so you have to study social statics and social dynamic of our society. So in that, social statics is the are the existing structure element of society. Means that the how the social statics were in our society. That means the so what are the existing structure of element of our society, and how our society work, and various aspect of our society are stable in our society. But if you talk about the social dynamic, that called the Auguste Comte, social dynamic are the changes in those element of society. That means the social change dynamic is the aspect that there are some changes in those element of society. That means the social dynamic further talk about that the how the changes in element of our society. If we further talk about the Comte and functionalism, So Comte and Fancelin talk about, although few sociologists used Comte's original theories today, his basic idea are the groundwork in which Fancelin is based. So if you talk about the functionalism and relation of the Comte and functionalism theory, so we can talk about that the sociology Comte's original work was based upon the functionalism, and he work on his groundwork was the on the functionalism. So here we can see that the Comte's functionalism. So we can see that according to the Comte, what is functionalism? So according to functionalist, society is relatively stable. That means there are no any unstable things in our society or no any change in our society. Functionalist theory didn't talk about the any change in our society. So functionalist theory talk about the only society is our stable, which mean that things occur in society for a specific function and those function helps maintain stability. That means the which things occur in our society for a specific function and those function help maintain stability means if any function in our society are happening, so that function help to maintain stability in our society. Social institutions such as family, economy, education system and political system are critical for society to function properly. So there are various social institutions like facilities talk about that the family, economic, education system, and political system. All these things are critically, but they are working as a function for our society. So functionalism suggested that a society's value and norms provide the foundation for the rules and law that it creates. These norms regulate the relationship between social institutions. Further, we can see that the functionalists, however, have differing view about how these structure cooperate with one another. That means the functionalist, every functionalist see that how the societies, every structure cooperate with one another and work for positive in our society. Some compare society to a living, breathing organism. Other analyze the aspect and unexpected outcome of a social event, while still other wonders that exactly it is the hold of a society together. That means the society, if you talk about the compare, that society is the living, breathing organism that analyze and expect an unexpected outcome of social events. And while still other wonders exactly it is the whole the society together. That means functionalist theory hold the society together. Further, we can talk about the work of Herbert Spencer. Spencer's study of sociology was influenced by Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection. So he described that his theory of natural selection, that means the how the so a individual survive or exist in our society, and he basically focuses through the Charles Darwin's theory. So Spencer views society as a biological organism, and as such, it can evolve, thrive, or die. That means our society is like a biological, and it can be die. For him, some society are more fit than others because they adapt better to change in the environment. So Herbert Spencer talk about that according to him, there are some society that are more fit, but because they adopted the current scenario of environment. As like Herbert Spencer explained that as like our environment gives space to us, as like we have to change through to the according to the environment. If we didn't change us, so we cannot survive. And this is the also applicable in our society. That means the which like of our society, the our structure, our environment, so we have to create same type of society. Otherwise, society no more survive in the our area, our society. So further, we can see that the social Darwinism. What is the social Darwinism? From Spencer, you can see the type of thinking no as social Darwinism, a notion that suggested a strong society survive and weak ones become extinct. That means when the strong society is our strong, so he can survive long more and extend, but weak ones cannot survive to the longer. Further, we can see the work of Emil Durkheim. Durkheim was one of the first true sociologist in that he used data to test theory. That means the Durkheim used the statistical data for his study, and he was the first sociological thinker he that used the statistical data for the social science theory. So in the work of suicide, he used the statistical data to explain his theory of suicide and explain and collected data from the various police station of the society. Further, Durkheim's were suggested that solidarity is a vital component that holds society together. That means the Durkheim's work relatively suggested that solidarity is the vital component that holds society together. Means Durkheim focuses more upon the solidarity aspect of our society and how our solidarity work and how solidarity solidarity aspect influence our society and create a positive phenomena for our society. Here we can see that the Durkheim's and solidarity, how they interconnect Durkheim and the solidarity. So solidarity integrates our whole society together because people see themselves as unified. And he points out that the type of society influence the type of solidarity. That means the solidarity integrate or hold society means the people who mean there are more solidarity, so people are more are in, together and they are large number of people are interconnected with each other. And further, he points out that the type of society means we are living in which type of society we are living, and that type of society influence the upon us, and we create the type of that type of solidarity. Further, he described that the mechanical and organic solidarity in Durkheim divided solidarity into two categories. The first one is the mechanical solidarity, and second one is the organic solidarity. So, mechanical solidarity refers to the state of community bonding in traditional society in which people share beliefs and value and perform common activity. And that means that the mechanical solidarity found in the ancient society where people are bond with each other, and their beliefs and practices are common, and they are integrated, or they are connected with each other, and their solidarity are more against the uh, modern society. Further, organic solidarity occurs when people live in a society with a diverse division of labor. This forces people to depend on one another for survival. So, in through the organic solidarity, Durkheim described that in our modern society, there are found organic solidarity in which there are diverse division of labor, more specialization among the people, and that force people to depend on one another for survival. That means when there are more division of labor, so more number of people are dependent on the other people. Durkheim Solidarity and Social Control in his book in 1897, book Suicide, Durkheim proposed that two social forces, solidarity and social control, influence the chance of a person taking his her own life. Solidarity is the level of connectedness a person feels toward others in their environment. And if you Durkheim talk about the social control, that means refers to the social mechanism that regulate persons' actions. So there kinds four type of suicide. The first one is egoistic, when people lack solidarity. People if you, then when people lack solidarity, means people did not find solidarity in his life, so he or she frustrated and go for suicide. If we talk about the kind talk about the altruistic suicide, that result when the level of solidarity is unexceptional high, suicide bomber. So that is called means altruistic, when there are a more solidarity in our society. So people do suicide, done suicide. That means the if you see the example of the altruistic suicide, when the people we can see that the various example of altruistic suicide, like such like the army man who die for dying in the border, at the border for us. That is called the altruistic. Or the king for the kingdom, that people all the, and all these things are under the altruistic suicide. The third one is called the fatalistic society, result from too much social control. When any people find that there are too much social control upon them, so people go for the suicide. So fatalistic society is the type of when people found there are a high or much social control upon him, so he do suicide. Economic suicide occurs as a result of rapid change, usually economic. So that is the economic suicide. Here we can see that the four types of suicide from the aspect that the first one we can see that the egoistic suicide, that mentally example we can see that the mentally ill people, when there are no any solidarity him with him, lonely he, if any people feel very lonely, and social outcast, when any people social outcast, so he go for suicide. That if you will see the motivation, that the depression, people very depressed at that time. Altruistic suicide example, kamikaze pilots, suicide bomber, cult members, all these things are example of altruistic suicide. So in this we can see the motivation, that is the obligation to the group. The third one we can see that the fatalistic suicide, that the inmates, elderly or terminally ill people are, when they are they see that their fatal is very bad, and in that case he do conduct for the suicide. So they are motivation, if you talk about the motivation, they are very hopelessness and go for suicide. Further, if we see that the economic suicide, so economic suicide is the example, anyone who cannot deal with chaos, such the stock market crash of 1929. So lots of people do go for the suicide. So in the economic suicide, we can see that the motivation is insecurity, when the people feel insecurity in the society, so he go for the suicide. So all these things are for this lecture. For in the next lecture, we will discuss further in our sociological theory and perspective. Thank you.